Hi, welcome to my video on the review of the area of a triangle, sine and cosine law. So this review ends the unit on the area of a triangle, sine and cosine law. And this review can be treated as a quiz where you give marks to each question, and the total for the questions on this review is 37. So when you're finished, add up all the pages, all the questions on each page, total of pages, put it here, divide denominator to numerator, and get a decimal, and move your decimal 2 places to the right to get a percent. So we have, this is the first page of 4, we have 3 more pages to do. Here we go to review to see how well you, and if you want, you can pause the video first before you do each question and work out the questions to see if you get them right. Number 1, find the exact area. We have a right triangle with 8 inches on the hypotenuse and 30 degrees. So we want to find the area of a triangle. Because we have a right triangle, we can use area as half the base times the height. And we have a 30, and this is a 60 degree angle. Opposite 30 is n, opposite to 90 is 2n, and opposite to 60 is n root 3. So that means that 2n is equal to 8 divided by 2, n is equal to 4. So n is 4, and 2n is 8, and this side right here is 4 root 3. As a result, we have the base of the triangle, which is 4 root 3, and the height is 4. And notice we got to find the exact area. So a half of 4 is 2, so that's 8 root 3, and it's in inches, so this is inches squared or square inches. So if you have it, 8 root 3, give yourself 4 marks. So how I'm going to distribute the marks is I'm going to give 1 mark for 4, 1 mark for 4 root 3, and 1 mark for the triangle and subbing this in, and 1 mark for getting the 8 root 3. So if you did get 8 root 3, judge yourself and give your part marks. Number 2, triangle HAT. HA is 10.2, HT is 6.7, and angle H is 43. Find its area to the nearest tenth. Well, it's always good to draw a triangle, and H, A, T are the vertices, and it says HA is 10.2, HT is 6.7, and angle H is 43. So we want to get the area of a triangle, and notice we have no right angle here, so we can't use half the base times the height. We don't have an angle and a side to use the sine law. We got an angle of 43 degrees, but we don't have a side. We got a side here but no angle. We got a side here but no angle, so we have to use the area of a triangle is half the A, B, sine of the included angle. So there's no sine law on the go. So we do have 2 sides in included angle. So the side is 10.2, B is 6.7, and the sine of the included angle is 43. When you sub all that into your calculator, it come out to be 23.3, and this to the nearest tenth, and it's centimeters, so it's square centimeters. So if you have 23.3 square centimeters, give yourself 3 marks. If you don't, if you drew the triangle correctly, give yourself a mark. If you have this written down and subbed incorrectly, give yourself a mark. If you have the final answer, 3 marks altogether. Number 3, find the area to the nearest tenth. Well, you notice we have to get the area of a triangle, we don't have a right triangle, so we don't have a height. So we'll go a half of AB sine theta again. So let's see, we have these two sides equal, so this is 12. Because there's two sides equal, two bases angles are equal, opposite those sides, so this is a 72. That means if you take 180, subtract 72, that gives you 36-degree angle is the third one at the top. Now, because we have these two sides in this included angle, we have a half of 12 times 12, make that a half so you can see it. And we got the sine of 36. And if you plug that into your calculator, a half times 12 times sine 36, you get a 42.3. And the units are feet, so the area is square feet. There's 5 marks here. How I distribute the marks, it came up with this side is 12 because they're marked. It came up with the two angles. This angle is 72, I gave you a mark. If it came up with this angle is 636, 3 marks here. If it come up with this formula and subbed incorrectly as a mark, and if you get the final answer, you get a mark. So 5 for that question. Total up your page is at a 12. And again, don't forget to pause the video. Work it out yourself first. Now we need to find the area. And the area, we need two sides. We don't have a right angle. We can't get a base times a height. So we have to use, again, to get the area, half AB sine theta. But I have two sides of 28 and 16. I need this angle here. So I don't have a right triangle. I can use the sine law because I have an angle on the side. So the sine law, sine of 74 over 28 is equal. Now I got this side here, so I'm going to call this x right here. So this is the sine of angle x over 16. So cross multiply sine x, and quick, 16 sine 74 divided by 28. So the sine x becomes, as a decimal, 0.5493. And that means that angle x is sine to the negative 1 on decimal 5493, and x comes out to be 33. We also remember, if you think about it, add sugar to coffee, sine is positive in 1 and 2. So if you think about it, draw a circle. 33 is in quadrant 1. Reference angle is 33, so you draw a terminal arm here and put 33. So the first angle is 33. In the second quadrant, it's 180 minus 33. So the second quadrant angle is 147. So it's two possible angles right now. So you have 140, 33 is going to be okay, but we have to check the 147. So we have a 74, and we have 147 as the other angle, but that adds up to a 221. So that's too much. So we can't use 147 is 2. So 33. Now, if this angle is 33, that means this angle here you can call theta if you want. Whereas the third angle is 180 minus 74 minus 33. So that angle comes out to be 73. And Now we put 73 right here. 73. And we can use the area of a triangle because we have two sides and included angle. So the area of a triangle is half of AB sine theta. So that's a half of 28, 16 sine 73. And that comes out to be 214.21 when you use your calculator. And I've done a lot of these, so you can plug that in and check it out. So the area to the nearest tenth is 214.2. And I didn't say the units, so it's square units. Or units square, whatever the units. But I didn't put any units in, but the area is in square units. So 214. And if you use the sine law, you got a mark here. If you got down as far as here, you have a mark. If you have these two angles here, you get a mark. If you scratch this one out, you got another mark. And so this angle is 73. You got another mark. If you use the area of a triangle, you got another mark. And you got the final answer, you got another mark. So 6 marks altogether. And number 5, it says find x to the nearest tenth. And we have two sides and included angle. It's not a right triangle, so we can't use SOHCAHTOA. We can't use the sine law because we don't have an angle on the side opposite. So we have to use the cosine law. C squared is a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cos c. So what I do, this is the angle that I have, so I call this big C. So the side opposite of that is C. So let's make this A and make this B. So small c is x, A is 6 squared, B is 10 squared, minus 2, 6, 10, cos 81. And if you want to plug, I'm going to plug, if you type that in your calculator, you will come up with, you can work it out individually, but if you type it in the calculator, you get 117.23, and the square root of x squared is plus minus the square root of 117.23. X is plus or minus. The square root is 10.827 if you use your calculator. X is 10.827. So, you have, notice if you plug all this in your calculator just like that, you'll come up with this, and then you do the square root. So, if you did the sine law, you got a mark. If you fill this, if you wrote down that law, if you filled it in correctly, you got a law. If you work this out right here, you got 2. Plugged it in the calculator correctly. If you did your root, you got the 2 marks, so 6 marks altogether. And that adds up to 12. Okay, and we have a couple more problems to do. Don't forget to pause your video and work it out first. Sides of a triangle are 8, 12, and 18. Find to the nearest degree the measure of the largest angle. Well, let's draw the triangle and see what happens. So we have 18, 12, and 8. So 18, or 8, 12, and 8. I put them down 18, put the largest one down first. And so the sides, find the measure of the largest angle. Well, in triangles, the largest angle is opposite the largest side. And the smallest angle is opposite the smallest side. So if that's 8, This is the smallest angle. That's 18. This is the largest angle. So we want the largest angle, so we'll call this angle X. Now notice it's not a right triangle, so we can't use SOHCAHTOA. We can't use the sine law because we don't have any angles, so we have to use the cosine law again. C squared A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cos C. So notice I got this one memorized. So the angle that I have, or the angle that I'm looking for, I call C. Since this is angle C, this is small c, so we can say this is A and this is B. Once that's angle C, this is small c, the other two makes no difference. And if you plug that in, now you have C is 18 squared, A is 8 squared, B is 12 squared, 2, A is 8, B is 12, and the cos of angle C, which is the X. And we want to work this out. We can take our time now. I can square this. I'm going to work this out, taking it a long way. 18 squared, 3, 24. 8 squared, 64. 12 squared, 144. And I did the squares, so I'm just going to work it out by PEMDAS. So now I have to multiply. So just take my time and use a PEMDAS. So I have to multiply 2 times 8 times 12, and that's 192 cos X. Then I can add these two together because I'll simplify what's on each side first. So that's a 208. Now I'm solving for X, so the 192 moves to the left side to become positive. The 324 moves to the right side to become negative. So that gives me 208 subtract 324 gives me a negative 116. So we divide by 192. So cos X negative 116 over 192. So that means that angle X is cos to the negative 1 inverse on the calculator, negative 116. So if you went second function on your calculator and type this in, the angle comes out to be 52.8. Check it out. And that means to the nearest degree is 53. Oh, wait now. Sorry, that's the reference angle. Yeah, if you did it another way, so that's going to be 127. Sorry about that, because there's two ways to do it. When you do it on your calculator, you get 127. What I just did then, I was doing this. I was doing the reference angle as the cos of the reference angle was 116, 192. So that means that the reference angle is cos to the negative 1 on 116. So that means that it's 52.8. So the reference angle, if you did it this way, would be 53. So if we're doing it that way, right here, what happens? The reference angle is 53, and but cos is negative. This is cos negative, so you add sugar to coffee. And cos is negative in quadrants 2 and 3. We can't go in quadrant 3 because it's too large. Quadrant 3 angles and quadrant 4 angles are more than 180. So we can't use them. So we're in quadrant 3. So when we're in quadrant 3 with a reference angle of 53, that gives me this rotation, that angle X is going to be 127. But if you use your calculator, if you do it this way and get your reference angle and get 53, then you subtract from 180 and get the 127. But if you use your calculator right away and plug this in, you'll get 127. Right. The calculator will give you the 127, which is in the second quadrant. Okay, and we got 6 marks here. So if you use the sine law, give yourself a mark. If you subbed in correctly, give yourself a mark. If you worked it all the way through here, you got 1, 2, you got 6 marks here. So you have realizing it's a sine mark, so you get another mark. You realize the sine law. You wrote down sine law correctly. There's 1 mark saying you notice the cosine law. Cosine law written down correctly is a mark. Filling it in correctly is a mark. Working this out to here is 2 marks, and working this answer is a mark. 6 altogether. Okay. And number 7, we have a diagram here. 26-degree angle, 24-degree angle, and we want to find what x is. And it says the area of the hemisphere BTC is 18 pi square meters. So we can say that's a hemisphere. We can do the area of a hemisphere is half the area of a circle. So that means if this is the hemisphere, that means the area of the hemisphere is 18 pi. So we'll go 18 pi equals half pi r squared. Notice we got pi on each side, so they cancel out. And you multiply by 2, you get 36. Multiply half by 2, you get r squared. So the square root of r squared is plus minus the square root of 36, which is plus minus 6 for the radius. And the radius is never negative, it's always positive. And this is the diameter. So your diameter is twice your radius. So your radius is 6, so that means your diameter is 12. Notice the units is meters, so that's meters. So your diameter is 12. So let's put 12 right here. Also, we have 2 angles in the triangle that adds up to 150. So this angle here is 30. And now we have 3 angles and 1 side, so we can use the sine law. So the sine of 26 over 12 is equal to the sine of 30 degrees over x. Cross multiply. X equals 12. So 12 times sine 30 divided by the sine of 26. So x equals, that comes out to be, with a calculator, like that. And so the answer is, to the nearest tenth, is 13.7. And it's the length of the sides is 13.7 meters. So, the quiz is finished, but I had to put the marks on this. If you found a 30-degree angle, give yourself a mark. If you wrote down the formula for the area of a hemisphere, give yourself a mark. If you plugged it in and came up with the working out the 6, give yourself 2 marks. If we did the diameter, give yourself a mark. If you use the sine law, give yourself a mark. And if you got the final answer, there's another mark, 7 marks in total, 13 for the page. And hopefully you worked out everything okay. And add up all your pages. Go back to the first page again. Add up all your pages. Put it over 37. Change it to a percent. Divide the denominator into the numerator. And get a decimal. Move the decimal 2 places to the right to get a percent. And hopefully this unit you understand that what was in my videos, and you understand the area of a triangle, by half AB sine theta, 2 sides included angle, and you know how to work triangles using the sine law and the cosine law. And if you like my video and you like the units, the videos on this unit, click the like button, click the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber, and visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.